to my grandma's house in Zurich, Switzerland. We always go to her house first for breakfast. She has this cute little house. You can see my brother being all funny. But we had a really good breakfast, just bread and jelly and cheese, very traditional Swiss breakfast. So then we had to get in the car and drive 7 hours to Florence, Italy. So that was definitely kind of painful and not very enjoyable after such a long flight. And when you fly to Europe, you basically have like an all-nighter, unless you sleep a lot on the plane. So we were like dead tired and just trying to keep each other awake all day. But you can see that there was some very beautiful scenery along the way. So I'll just let you enjoy the scenery in Switzerland. This was a beautiful, super clear lake. I believe this was Lake Lucerne. We also had to go through the longest tunnel in the world, which is in Switzerland. It's called the Gotthard Tunnel, but I don't think I have a video of it because I was probably sleeping. I think we all slept quite a bit in the car. And this was when we got into Italy. You can see that the scenery, the landscape is pretty different. And we got so lost trying to find our hotel, like incredibly lost, but we finally found it. It was this cute little quaint hotel in Florence. I was sharing it with my brother, and it actually had really pretty scenery. We could see all these little apartments all around. So yeah, it was a nice hotel, kind of cramped, but nice. There's our little bed. And we then just walked around trying to find something to eat, so that we could go to bed. We were so tired. But we got this really good, like, meat platter. It was so good. My brother had this burrata, and then I got this ravioli dish. It was amazing. And the next morning, my brother and I went on a walk at sunrise. So you can see that there's like hardly anybody outside, but it was so pretty and so calm, and we kind of just scoped out everywhere that we wanted to go that day. And this was the view from breakfast. So pretty. And we then went to the Uffizi Gallery, which is a really famous museum in Florence. And there was this like well thing with all this money in it at the entrance, which was kind of funny. And we had to walk up all of these stairs to get to the actual museum. And I just took some pictures of some of the more famous artworks in the museum. I don't think you're really supposed to take videos, so I just took pictures, but that's the birth of Venus, and this sculpture was like in its own little separate room, and another pretty room with all of these sculptures in it. So then we had to check out this sandwich shop that TikTok told me I had to go to, and it was so good. Oh my gosh, the sandwich was amazing. It was so big though, so there's this picture of my brother and I trying to eat them, which was funny. But then we met up with this tour guide who was showing us kind of some of the hidden gems around Florence. And she took us to this building that had this like digital artwork thing, and it was so cool, and I thought it was kind of a good ASMR trigger, so I'll just let you enjoy this video. This video right now is the actual speed that it was going, but then after this there's a couple of time-lapse videos that I took that are also really cool, so I'll just let you enjoy it for a couple seconds. So then then our tour guide took us to the oldest pharmacy in Europe, I believe. And it was so pretty. There were all these pretty flowers. The purple was so pretty. And I think this was like Catherine Medici's perfume. And this building was just so cool. It had all of these perfumes and medicines and things like that. And we basically just walked around and saw a bunch of cool sights. I don't think I have a video of the Duomo, but we did see that, of course. And our tour guide was telling us where to find the best gelato and like what to look for. So she took us here and it was so good. And then we went out to dinner at this restaurant and we got these mussels. I love mussels. They were so good. And I got cacio e pepe for my entree. And this is everyone else's food. It was such a good meal. And this was my breakfast the next morning. Again, such a beautiful view. I loved it. And then we took like a hike up to this piazza where you can basically see all of Florence, and it was really pretty and really nice. I realized that I actually didn't take that many videos or pictures up there, but this was something that our tour guide told us we should do. And on the way down, we actually found this really cool paper store where they were making their own paper, and we got a bunch of cool stationery things, so this was a really cool find. And then we went to this big food court where you could basically get like any kind of food that you wanted. My brother and I got pizza, but my dad got sushi. Don't ask me why my dad got sushi in Italy, but the food was really good. Here's me trying to take a bite of my pizza. It was so good, but you can see it's a little floppy. And then my mom and I got another gelato. This was a different place, but I think it was even better. And then we went to this restaurant that kind of looked like a dungeon or something inside, but it was really cool. I liked the atmosphere. And this was my amazing pasta. It was like a pesto burrata pasta. And we got a Florentine steak, which they come and carve right by the table in front of you, which was really cool. And it was like probably the best steak that I've ever had. And the next morning, we went to the Academia Museum to see the statue of David. So there he is in all his glory. I didn't realize he was actually like 16 feet tall. It was really big. And this is just a picture of my brother we took that I really like. He was like being silly and pretending to choke me on the bridge. And then we drove away from Florence and we stopped in Pisa and basically just got out and saw the tower. So there's me being kind of silly, And then we found this sandwich shop where they carved the meat right in front of us, which was cool, and it was so good and so cheap. And then we drove to Cinque Terre on the Italian coast, and oh my gosh, so beautiful. This was our little hotel room, even smaller than the last one, and my brother and I had to share a bed, which wasn't ideal, but this was the view from the hotel balcony, which was so pretty. And we were right near the sea, so my brother and I immediately went and jumped in the Mediterranean. It was so nice. Oh my gosh, the water is so blue and pretty, and there's all these rocks everywhere. I just loved being here. And we found this place for dinner where we got mussels, and those are stuffed mussels. And it was like right on the street, right by our hotel. And it was really yummy. And they even served us this pasta right by the table. It was a really good, like, shrimp gnocchi. And yeah, this was amazing. So the next morning, we started on a hike. So Cinque Terre is 5 towns on the Mediterranean. And we were staying in the first one, Monte Rosso. But you can basically hike between them. So we started on a hike to the second one, which was Vernazza. And you can see that the hike was pretty strenuous to get up to the top, but it was so worth it. The view was amazing when we got up to the top, and we could see Vernazza below. So these are videos of when we were like coming down into Vernazza, and I think this was my favorite town that we saw that day. We got to go swimming off of these rocks. Here's my brother diving off of the rock, and we actually saw a guy break his arm on the rock that my brother's on, so that was not great. But then we left to walk to Cornelia, which is the third town. Of course, I had to do a handstand. I have to do a handstand everywhere I go. But on this hike, we saw this little, like, fresh orange juice shop with all the squeezed out oranges outside. So we had to get a glass and look at that view. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And we then saw this guy playing the accordion up in the mountains, which was cool. And we got this amazing sandwich when we got to Cornelia. And we kind of just waited there for our parents because we were way ahead of them. So there was this cool church and a really pretty view. And my brother and I then started the hike to Monarola, which is the fourth town. Our parents actually decided to take the train instead, but we did the hike. I think it was definitely the most strenuous hike of the day, but also the most beautiful. We also saw these vineyards with all these green grapes, and my brother and I bought a bottle of the wine to take to my grandma for her birthday, which we thought was pretty cool. And this is when we kind of got a view of Monarola, but it took us so long to actually get down there. It was a really long hike, but we got to jump off these cliffs in Monarola, so there's me being terrified and jumping off. And we then took the train back to where we were staying in Monterosso. I was so exhausted, but we got this really good dinner. I had this grilled seafood, which they really made me work for. I had to like get it out of the shells and everything, but it was really good. And this was my breakfast the next morning. They had these giant kiwis, and I love kiwis. It was really good. And we then started the drive back to Switzerland to Fribourg, which is where some of our friends live, so we were going to visit them. So we got some more gorgeous scenery along the 6-hour drive, and we even stopped at this little like lake or pond kind of thing. We were literally just going to the bathroom, but there was this like gorgeous lake, so gorgeous scenery all the way. And we got to our friend's house. I love their cute little house. It's like has really pretty scenery outside, and this was my little cove of a room. It was small, but I was so excited to have my own room after sharing with my brother for way too long. And we had some appetizers. They made this like red currant tart, which was really good, and made me this drink. They called it a summer drink. I don't even know what it was. And we then all helped make dinner. We had saltimbocca and mushroom risotto, which was like the best meal I had the whole trip. And I thought it was really funny that on their fridge they had a little marking of my height from 2012, which was really funny to see like how much I've grown since then. And we had this great dessert. I think it was like a black forest cake and these cookies. And this was the next morning, our delicious breakfast. Again, we had lots of bread and jellies and cheese, and we also had soft-boiled eggs. I love this breakfast, and the view was so pretty from breakfast. And they had my favorite, like whipped honey. I didn't realize that you actually like can't get it. It's something that our friend's uncle makes choose himself. So yeah, but it's my favorite. So then we all went on a hike, and our friend is known for always saying like, oh, let's go on a little hour-long walk, and then it ends up being like a 9-hour hike, and this day was no exception, but it was really pretty. And we saw all of these pigs. They were like sleeping in this little pasture. They were really cute. And we also saw a bunch of goats, so of course we had to stop and pet them. They had these cute little cowbells around their neck. And we also saw a bunch of cows. There are so many like cheese makers up in the Swiss mountains, so lots of cows. You can probably imagine that it didn't smell that great, but the really pretty scenery made up for it, and the cows were cute. So this was the view. When we got to the top, you could see like all of the highest Swiss mountains in the scenery. It was so pretty. But yeah, we kind of just hung out here for a little bit and enjoyed the view. And here's me, and you can see my dad in the background, but that's the gorgeous view. And of course, I had to do another handstand. Gotta do them everywhere. So then we walked to this little like cafe where they also make cheese, which is really cool. And there's always like a cafe everywhere in the Swiss mountains, which is funny. And they made us this little cheese tasting platter, which was really, really good. And this little like meringue dessert, which was also amazing. And then they showed us where they make the cheese. So this was like the room where they make cheese and the place where we store it. And we actually bought some of the cheese for breakfast the next morning, so we got to try it. And we had some appetizers when we got back to their house. And I love this dog. I'm so happy we got to see her again. She's so cute and so pretty. But we had such a good dinner of some pork and polenta with salad and vegetables. So good. And we had like a red currant cake and some chocolate truffles for dessert. And then the next morning we had to drive to Zurich. So this is our cute little hotel. We had a lot more space than the other hotels. And it had like this really cool light in the ceiling, which was cool. But then we kind of just walked around Zurich. We got these amazing bratwursts at the best spot in town. You can see us like cheersing them. We were being silly. And we kind of just walked around and enjoyed the scenery while we were killing time waiting for dinner with my uncle. So this was the river, so pretty and so like clear and green. I love it. And we had to stop by this famous chocolate store, and we got a couple of truffles to share, which were so good. And this was down by Lake Zurich, again, so beautiful. And there were actually all of these like party boats or something, so I don't really know what was going on, but it was really pretty. And we went to this pretty restaurant where we got to sit on this terrace, and we had Geschnatzlitz, which is a traditional Swiss dish, and they serve it to you over rosti, which is like a potato pancake, and we have to have it whenever we go to Switzerland. It's so good. And I had this dessert of strawberries with homemade whipped cream, and there's everyone else's desserts. And the next morning, I did a workout at our hotel because I hadn't worked out in a long time. But you can see that the equipment was so old, but I made do. It was funny. And I had some coffee, of course, before going to my grandma's 90th birthday party. So she had 40 people at her 90th birthday party, which was crazy. It was kind of the reason that we went to Europe. And there was this really cute dog. The video doesn't do it justice, but it was the biggest dog I've ever seen in my life. So we went into this pretty little room where we had lunch, soup and my salad, really good, and this delicious entree of like 3 different kinds of meat with potatoes and vegetables. And then these desserts, we had like a chocolate mousse and a fruit dessert, so it was so good. And then we were so tired, so we kind of just went back to the hotel and took a nap for a while before heading back out for dinner, where I got a bratwurst and my brother got Wiener Schnitzel. It was so good. This is my favorite restaurant. And then the next morning, I had to do another workout because I knew I was going to be like just sitting still the whole day on the plane, so had to get some movement in. And this was my breakfast. I made a little yogurt parfait at the hotel. And of course, we had to shop for all of the Swiss chocolate on the way home at the airport. And then the sad part, this was us taking off from Zurich. Yes, it's the same video as the beginning of the video, but on the way there, I had a middle seat, so I couldn't actually film out of the window. So this was us taking off from Zurich, and now I am home, and it was such an amazing trip. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I realized that the video clips were actually really short and there wasn't that much time to explain what I was doing, but I am very new to vlogging, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing everything that I did, and I will see you